As Anga said, my name is Kyriakos. I'm a project manager and educational robotics trainer at Eduact. And I would like to just show you what Eduact is about as well. So if you weren't in the previous cafe that we had in the morning, or if you were, I'm gonna just do like a short presentations, presentation about Eduact. So let me just share my screen. It should be this one. Can you see like the full presentation? Perfect. So Eduact is a non-profit association in Greece, in Thessaloniki of Greece. Our motto is creating a better future with new practices and innovation in education. So we are an educational organization. We worry about education and kids and how will they grow up maybe, and what they will learn. So Eduact is in Thessaloniki from 2013, about 7 to 8 years now. We were working in the field of non-formal education with emphasis on new technologies, on coding and educational robotics. So we are trying to lead the way in the field of modern education and implement practices aimed to innovative ideas into education. And this is our aim, our goal through the actions and programs that we offer. Our philosophy is built through four different aspects. It's the connecting individuals, so to bring collaborations, bring people together, connect individuals that want to make more, want to collaborate to have a common purpose. And through our programs, we are trying to connect them to find the similar aspects of their life or the similar goals of them, or the similar topics that they like. Also, we are trying to discover leaders through our programs. We are trying to, and not a leader in a formal way, but more importantly in a life way of thinking way. So a leader that can be upfront, a leader that can worry about his goals, and he's trying to go forward every day. So we're trying to discover a leader in every person, in every kid or adult that participates in our programs. Another aspect is the learning to learn with a reason. So we are trying to bring education into a way that you will like it. It's gonna have a reason. It's gonna have a reason to go on, and not just to learn another information about the world. And also we're trying to discover some talents, because every human has a talent, and if he hasn't found yet, then he has to like either search for it or aim for it, like practice for it. In Eduact, in order to achieve our goals, we have a network of professionals, also volunteers who collaborate, so we can do all those programs together. So everyone is doing a lot of things in Eduact. Examples of our programs and actions include robotics for kids, include coding, include remote workshops in these times of the COVID era, I would say. We have the Train Your Brain workshops. It's a non-formal workshop as well to train your social and cognitive skills. Also, there are the first challenges, the first leagues, and the first Lego leagues. There are some, sorry, There are some competitions in robotics run by FIRST and Lego at the same time that are for kids and have an educational purpose. Also, we have some other programs that give opportunities of knowledge and summer camps in the summer when the time lets us. So FIRST is a non-profit organization based in the US and is hosting the biggest robotics and innovation competitions, championships. And we are a partner of FIRST here in Greece. We do these competitions and championships in Greece. So we try to inspire young people to see science, technology, and innovation more close to them than away from them. We're trying to bring technology, engineering, science more close to a kid that is interested to it than just by learning, studying what the school can give him or her. The impact in the last 7 years of our existence for Eduact is that more than 70,000 students have involved in our programs individually. We had more than 150 events and actions all over Greece and outside of Greece as well. And the last one is a bit funny because we don't have any unsatisfied students. Everyone is satisfied. We are perfect. We are perfect. That's the exaggeration. So this is Eduact. This is what we do. What I'm gonna try and show you today, my purpose today is to present you some of the digital tools that Eduact and hundreds of civil society or non-governmental, non-profit organizations and libraries implement in their toolbox to improve productivity, some digital tools to say. If not all of them, these digital tools, some of them you're already using. So I'm going to try to give you some basic tips for them. Some of them are really, really simple, and some of them are a bit like you can use them only if you need them, maybe. But yeah, let's start. I'm going to give you another screen. So email. Everybody has an email, isn't it? I'm gonna before I start, I'm gonna say that I'm gonna do random questions. They're gonna sound like rhetorical questions, but I would like to see your answers as well. So if you have any answers on my questions, you can just write them on the chat, so we can all feel like we are on the same page. So email is something we all have. You had an email because you already rolled on this webinar. You somehow rolled on this, and the link to this Zoom meeting has brought you here. So email is a tool that we are using to communicate asynchronously. That means not at the same time with a person or a group of people. So I'm going to ask you now, how many times, no, sorry. I'm going to ask you, what's the unread emails you have right now on your basic email account? Claudia is, you please tell me, Claudia, please. I'm gonna.
No, this is way too public for me to admit it. So it's on my personal account. I have many. On the work account, I'm trying to keep it close to 0, just like Ludmila here said. But on my personal account, if I am to look, you said the main, right? The main one, then can be hundreds, yes.
So this is a way to improve the productivity in your emails. Keep them tidy. just throw away everything that comes in your way. If you have like any promotional material or something like this, throw it somewhere, or make an exception that you will not receive any more of these emails, so you can have a clean, tidy email and just see what you really want to see. Now, another question about emails. How many times in the day do you check your email?
That's questions. It's impossible to answer to these questions. It's like, how many times a minute, you mean?
So that means, Anka, that you're waiting for the notification of the email, more or less. You have the notifications on your email, and you're waiting for it to just come by, and you open it as soon as you hear the notification, right?
Yes, it's also a diagnostic. Diagnostic. It's OCD. So no emails unanswered at the work email.
I like the answer of Ludmila. So you should, because emails are not at the same time communication. So if somebody has like an urgent matter, then she should like call you or something. Then you should schedule when you read and reply to emails. Just put it in the day. If you are waiting for many emails, give 30 minutes in the morning, 30 minutes in the afternoon, so you can read your email and reply to them. Don't read them more than once. Just read them once, answer it, and let go either way. Another thing is that, so you can turn off the notifications as well. Another thing is that many of us use emails for task management. So we have a group of people in organization, and just sending a group email to like a group of people saying, okay, so I'm going to do that, you're going to do this, and she's going to do that. And after a week, you have to bring around to this email and see what everyone has done with every other email that has been sent through the week. I'm going to talk about task management tools later, but try to not use your email for task management, because you're going to have many mails. You're going to have to search for many mails to find what you're looking for. Now let's go to, at the same time, synchronously communication, a chat. There are some professional chats you can use, like Microsoft Teams or Slack or Discord. There are some professional tools other than maybe, I don't know, Facebook Messenger or Viber or something like this. This can work too, but you can keep your personal life separate from professional. Sometimes you have a big volume of communication through your day. So a chat is to communicate synchronously with a person or a group of people by text. So I would say as well to set up your alerts, just as on email, set up your notifications. So if you need to stay on one project, then and you don't need any distraction, turn off the notification, so you won't be seeing like bubbles on your screen or on your phone, and you're going to be distracted and never end your project. And because it's chat, you it's not a rule, but you're like obliged to answer to that chat message. So set your alarms, set your condition like busy or something like this, and at the same time keep the chat as it is. Like the chat is to use it only when you need answers fast or you need to give answers fast. So use it only at those moments and when someone is online as well or there for you. Also, because chats have group chats as well, a big problem in group chats is that the topic is going in space. topic is going in space, and then it goes in the sea, and then it goes in the ground, and goes everywhere, 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 other than the first topic you had. That's just human nature. It's not something we do wrong. It's you just have to stay on topic, and then I think everybody else will stay on topic. So check the topic of the group chat and try not to distract the other people from the topic you're talking to. So this Zoom meeting we are in, it's the Zoom program is an online meeting tool. It's as the chat is synchronously communicating program. We can talk with this via live video with a person or a group of people, just as we are doing now. The best advice I can give you about online meeting tools, because I'm keeping these first like really fast, because there are things that maybe we are all already using in our everyday lives. So I'm gonna go this with online meeting tools as well. And the only advice I can give you is to, if you're hosting online meeting, then try to be prepared. Try to be prepared for a lot of things, actually. You can be prepared for the system so that everything works, either presentation or audio or your video or your mic maybe. And also you have to be prepared with an agenda, because sometimes you have a meeting, you say you have a meeting for 1 hour, and then this meeting turns out to be 2.5 hours. So this goes because sometimes where we are too many people and we are in a meeting, that happens in real life as well, when we are like in a meeting room or something. So it's the same thing. We are trying to keep the topic, keep the agenda on. Maybe try to give the agenda to everyone on the meeting, and then keep the timing as well. It's I think it's very related to the agenda. And then we go to something different. I'm going to talk about forms. Forms is a way to communicate as well, but this time it's a one way to communicate. With forms, you are trying to gather information from a lot of people. You are trying either to gather information like personal information, or ask them about information, or maybe make a poll about, I don't know, what day and time could you meet so you can be all together at once, or maybe with the forms you can build some quizzes. So if you have any, if you are teaching, if you create lessons for kids or have a classroom, you can make quizzes for them. So they can all go there, bring the answers, and then maybe have an instant result as well, because it's already planned as you made it in the form. So a form is there if you need answers from a lot of people. This could be done by email as well. So this is the thing why we prefer forms, is that when you have when you send email to like 20 people to bring information from them, then you have 20 emails that you have to read each one of them, and it's not formed in any way. But if you have a form, then you just have your typical answers and go quickly by 25, 50, or 100 entries in your form. Another advice I can give you about forms is that if you're gathering info for a survey, you're doing like a feedback form or something like this, it's easier to save time by using scales. So instead of can you see my presentation? It's just saying forms.
Yes, it's visible on the screen. It's just that it's quite big. Adriana, it's a big screen Can you see me when I talk? Let us, I will talk on chat with her, so don't worry.
Okay. So on a survey on forms, you can use scales. So instead of allowing the person who is filling the form to write some text, then you can bring some scales from, for example, 0 to 10, and then read very, very fast, over 100 maybe entries, like lots of them. So you can bring a nice result really, really fast without having to read many emails or many texts. Now, something that is gone back in time, but it's still used, it's a forum. I don't know if you have any experience in online forums, in websites that are used as forums. A forum is a place where you can communicate, again, asynchronously, not at the same time with a group of people. You can just post online. But the thing about the forums is that everything is sorted in topics. So you have different topics, and in the topics, different discussions. So you can make many, many, many discussions, be archived there, be saved there, and anyone who wants an answer on the same discussion that has happened before, he can find it on the specific title he's looking for. So a forum is very, very useful when you have to keep everything sorted for further information afterwards. Another thing about the forum is that it can be open to everyone. Instead of just gathering information for everyone, it can be a tool to build a community. So everyone who is interested in the same topics, they can find a room in a forum to chat about these topics. So you can build a community out of that, and then bring some new material maybe in there, and have a conversation about the new material you are making through your organization or library. I'm gonna go somewhere else now, not very far from communicating, but it's a bit different now. I'm gonna talk about the document and dataset editing. This is like a Word document and a Excel document. You can find online tools that you can use, tools like that, like Microsoft Word or Microsoft Excel online. Sorry. And you use it to create, edit, and share documents and datasets. And this is the difference between an offline program that you can edit and create documents and an online document. When you have online, you can share simultaneously at the same time. So you can share at the same time the document, and you can have like a quicker collaboration, and you can work at the same time. Yes, Claudia, is like a Google Sheet or Google Docs. This is very, very useful. And I think everything I told you till now, email, chat, online, forms, and forum, and this is all free. You can use all these tools for free on the internet. There are many, many different tools you can use, many different companies that make these tools online, and you can find them for free. Maybe the forum is a bit, no, I think you can find free forum as well. Yes. Another thing about the documents, a tip, if you are already using documents, then there is this very, very good tool you can use, so that you don't have to ruin the format of the document. It's the comments. So when everyone is using the same document and writing on it, when you're not sure about something, or you want to ask something, or suggest something to be added or removed, then you can use comments so not to ruin the format of the original document. Also, the datasets, as just as an Excel or a dataset offline, is really useful for is really useful to use as a database. So you have lots of entries, lots of fields, and you can use it as a database, and you can enable sorting, so you can have everything sorted, and also you can use it as a multiple math operator. So you can do like really quick math operations at the same time, like very quickly. But all these documents and datasets are stored somewhere. They have to be stored online, and many companies give you this tool as well, a cloud storage. A cloud storage is like a hard drive of your phone or your laptop or your PC, but it's on the cloud. That means that's on the internet. It's on a server, on a personal computer, not a personal computer, it's on a computer somewhere in the world, but it's safe there, and you can bring all your files or your important files in the cloud, so you can save them there, share them through the cloud. So when you have it on the cloud, you can share it anywhere else through the internet. And so you can also access it anywhere you are, either if you are in the office or in the home. It doesn't matter which device you have on your hand. You just log in on a server through the internet, and then you are you have access to your documents and everything you have stored in your cloud storage. I think cloud is the best way to keep a file updated. So when you have a file, a document or dataset that keeps changing and you need to check it all the time, then putting in a cloud storage is the best way to keep it updated. So you have the same link, same file, but every time it's going to change and it's going to update whoever changes. Also, as I said, you can share the files, but you can also share an entire workspace with other people. You can have like a shared folder with other people, and maybe you can be in different projects with 2 different groups and have 2 different folders that these groups share. And now it's the time for the task management tools. Task management tools are there for us to keep track of our either personal or professional or team tasks. So you are on a team, you are in a group, and you have tasks for everyone. And every task has a different priority, and a different due date, and a different person who is responsible for it. So when you use a task management tool, you can keep your tasks sorted, so everything is in the right place. So instead of using emails or something like this, you can use a tool like this. Yeah, I was about to say that, Lucian, that okay. I thought you were gonna say about the management tools, the task management tools, and the Office and the Google Sheets. Sorry, but yeah, that's right what you're saying. I was gonna say that a good task management tool could be the Google Sheet if you want to use it like one. You can implement any way you want to sort your tasks through your team. But at the same time, there are already made task management tools that you can use, like Trello, or there are some personal tools where you can find online. Now I'm gonna put a a bonus tool. This is something that doesn't have like its own category, but it's I would say it's a combination of some of the tools that I showed you already, and that is the classroom tools. So say you have a classroom, you have a team, maybe you're an educator and you have a team that you have to teach. And with classroom tools like Google Classroom or other tools like educational tools like Kahoot or Quiz things, you can combine the cloud storage and asynchronous communication, then not at the same time communication with a group of people. But this brings to the aim of this is to bring a classroom together online so they can find everything, the discussions and the files and the quizzes and any other communication that needs to be done in a classroom. So I don't have any tips for these tools because it's just a combination of the ones I presented before. So just maybe use these tips. Now, I'm gonna go in a different category right now for a library or NGO or CSO. It's gonna be a professional profile that you can make online. You can make digital. So there are a few tools online that you can use to make an organization profile, a professional profile. So you can set up it and promote it so others can find it, and then through there you can find and meet either new partners or find and meet possible new employees or volunteers. So it's a good tool to promote, to show your organization or library. And many companies throughout the world and organizations use it so they can find the correct partner to collaborate, I would say. Other thing that you can do to promote your activities, your actions, is to use a gallery of images, of photos of your work that can be done through a page like Flickr, maybe, or Pinterest. And this can be done as a promotional gallery. So you can show people different images of your work, different pictures of what you're maybe making or creating, or just what your actions are about. Or instead of a promotional gallery, it can be used as an internal organization gallery of usable pictures to use for different projects. So when you do an event and have like more than 1,000 photos of the event, you have to choose through them. You don't need to upload all of them to a promotional gallery, but to choose some of them, you can have an internal gallery for your organization, and only so you can choose from this gallery which ones do you want to promote. These days, social media are like really ahead of our time, I would say. And if an organization or library, or maybe a person as well, if if I may say, don't have an account on social media, then you cannot promote yourself enough to be successful. So social media is a good, it can be a very good tool to socialize your organization, promote your organization or library, and use it to keep the people informed about your actions and your future actions as well. A tip about social media is to keep the content of your social media clean and constant. So keep it clean as stay on topic, stay on your on what you are really doing, and at the same time keep it constant. So don't stop to post things, so you can have an interaction with the people and you can socialize with the people through these tools. This is the last one I have on the presentation, and you can say that all your organizations or libraries information should be included in your website. So almost everything that I told until now can be included in a website of your library organization. I would say that everything that can be everything that can be published to people should be in your website. Either this is your social media or your galleries or your other professional profiles. It should be there for the people to find easily. So it's going to be like not a database, I would say, like a pool of what your organization consists. Now, if you would like to tell me some comments maybe about this, so we can make a discussion out of this if you would like. So is there a tool that you haven't used that was on this presentation? Do you have any more tips about the tool that you are already using too much, maybe? So I would like to hear from you if you have any tips or comments about my presentation. So maybe we can make a discussion out of this and share our experiences. Feel free to write on the chat or open your mics.
I think that most of the people use at least one instrument in each of the categories, but probably there's very much the difference is actually in how well they use the. So I have to thank you for the tips on how the reminder of settings. Working in settings so as not to be disturbed but actually be helped by these technologies. This is something that I never do and I should do because it benefits the workflow a lot if you actually take time to read emails in an organized way and not be chaotic. So this is my insight and thank you for that. And also, if you can, Kyriakos, if you can take the time to write in the chat the examples that you gave as tools for a classroom experience, because you mentioned them, and maybe this is something that can be a novelty for some of our colleagues here in the Kahoot and Google Meet, Google Classroom, I think, and you said you mentioned it and something else. And maybe we can just write it in the chat, so that it stays there. And maybe we learn about others too from the people in the room. Don't be shy. We are here to learn. And Ludmila tells us that she uses many instruments which were already presented, such as social media and emails and gallery and chat and forums and classroom tools. So yeah.
I had a question, Kyriakos, maybe because the focus of our discussion here is also working with communities, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's not just working in our teams, but working with people from the community and reaching out and encouraging more people to be to participate.
Mm-hmm.
And my question to you, and building on your practice in Greece, is when you start to work with the community, do you do training on a few of these tools, or do you share these practices with them from the beginning, or it's a learn as you go process?
I think already in the community tools, most of the people are more or less already a bit trained through life. What I mean is that you will not use, maybe, as I said, you will not use an email to gather information from maybe a community, but you can use a form that's like really, really simple for a person in the community. So it goes in there, fills the form out, or even a forum where they can find everything without even asking, or maybe if they ask, they have the community around them to answer for them. So I'll try to include both and tools that are going to be used for the community, also the tools that are going to be used internal into the organization or library, because either even if you have all the information you need from the community, or then you have somehow to collaborate with your colleagues and edit and create new projects, maybe new material for the community. So even the cloud storage part, or the sorry, or the document part, is something that you use to create something for the community.
I have a question, and also now I have my microphone on. I have a question for everybody that's with us in this webinar. So can you please write in the chat an example of a tool that you discovered last year due to the pandemic, or because of the pandemic, and you used extensively, which you didn't know before, and maybe we can see some of these examples and get to talk a little bit about how you use them, and we get inspired one by another. For example, for me, something that I didn't use before the pandemic, and I have to admit, was Zoom. I never used Zoom before the pandemic. I preferred Skype, and for this kind of team discussions, synchronous video calls. But I discovered Zoom, and guess what? I liked it, and we use it a lot for webinars, and we use it for meetings, one-to-one meetings, group meetings, big meetings, and other types of events. And that was a new thing for me. It's the, I would say, the tool of 2020 for small to medium events. So that was my discovery. And Ludmila says Zoom and Microsoft Teams and Google Class and Facebook Room. Ludmila, if you're not, would you like to share your experience with us? Just open your mic and camera and tell us about one of these tools and how exactly you use them for working with your community.
Maybe at the same time, through your question as well, Anka, I can give the document as well, the exercise for you. It's just for you. You don't have to share it with us if you do not want to. I'm just gonna send you a file through the chat. If you do not have Microsoft Word, then you can download the PDF. So this file is a form for you to use. It's only for you. The purpose of it is to understand maybe and either re-evaluate your use of these digital tools. So what I have written is that I have written the tools that I talked about, and you can just check which tools you use already or which tools you would use, and for which purposes. And I say it's only for you, this file, because I would like for you to write only for you the specific purposes of your organization, of your use. So it doesn't have to be generic. It has to be like very, very specific about what you already are doing that can be used by these tools, can be better edited, maybe. So you can find the file on the chat. You can download it. It's either on a doc file or on a PDF. The doc can be really easily filled. The PDF, you can fill it through Acrobat Reader if you press the fill and sign button. Or you can just do it on another piece of paper with your hand. It's very, very simple. I'm just going to give you some minutes to think about it and write for yourself.
Kyriakos, while filling in the text, I ran into a situation where, and I was wondering if you can help a little bit. So when you're part of the organization, you can look, like you said, towards the organization and also towards the community. But with some of these tools, like the web page, if you're part of the organization, then you actually are you have responsibility over the web page, right? So that means that you're not only a user, but you're also a contributor. You're also creating content for it. And I feel like these are quite different from this perspective. I mean, with some of them, you're just using them, right? Like with Google Apps, Google Drive, for example. You don't know anything about the technicality behind it. You're just using it, and the idea is to use it efficiently and for the right purpose, like you said, right? But with the web page, for example, at least, I mean, this is my experience, it can become quite frustrating because in theory, you need a web page, but because it depends on you to update it, to keep it nice and clean, and also with the photo gallery, that requires a lot of time, and it's quite different than creating a Google form and using the information than actually creating content and share it with the community. So I actually don't have a question, it's just a big frustration that maybe you can talk about. Not that you have the same frustration, but just help out.
I understand what you're saying, because also Eduact started as like a really small organization. We were just less than 10 people when we started, and right now the professionals are like about 30, I would say. That's too much, I think. And but it's 7 years and we are already like very, very big. And at the same time, we use these tools. I think all of us use all of these tools. So we have to be responsible for like many, many things and understand what you are saying. And this is why someone needs help in terms of either training maybe on these tools if you want to use it professionally, or otherwise maybe you need more people to help you with using these tools. So yes, there are too many, and that's a good thing, because you have too many options to do things, either if you're like alone and have an organization alone. But if you have in Greece we say meraki. That means like a good will. If you have a good will to make things good, then you will use as many as you have time to use.
Yeah, you have the tools to help you out with that. Yeah.
So I would say that it's not everything it's everything is optional. You don't have to keep everything on your organization. You don't have to have every one of these. You just need to find which one do you need. And this is why I made this file, because you have to find your purposes. You don't have to check all the things on the form I sent. You just have to check the ones that you really need and for which purpose.
Yeah, and I think it's also useful because when you went through the tools, you mentioned, what are they covering and what not. So if you don't use a forum, which is perfectly okay, like you said, how do you still assure that people have access to previous discussions or previous documents from your community and from your organization? The need still remains valid, even though you are not using that tool at this point. And so from this perspective, I really find useful to list down the options. And then if you have gaps, it's perfectly okay, but just make sure that some of the needs are still met for the community, because and I feel like especially with us working in projects where are other organizations that are doing similar projects, if the community knows, for example, that a forum is useful and they require a forum, and you decide, no, we're not going to do a forum, we're going to do a blog, then you need to actually prepare them a little bit to still use your resources, or, you know, that decision kind of, it's useful to be informed, I think, and not to lose people on the way.
Of course. And it's funny because forum is a really powerful, I would say, tool, but at the same time is it has stayed in the past. Not too many people use forums right now, but it's a really powerful tool.
But in order to be powerful as all tools, it needs to be populated as to gain significance. Because if you have a very complicated tool that nobody uses, then it's a dead. It's a dead tool, and it's a dead expensive tool. But because even if it's an open source that created that instrument, it still took a lot of time and energy, and that actually costs more than we can quantify. So I would say that the biggest challenge for any type of organization is to actually be very, you know, smart when they choose the way to communicate internally and externally, and how they organize and how they choose the tools that they use as for the proper you know, level that they can also accommodate. Because you can be very ambitious to start a lot of to create a lot of you know, tools, new content, new websites, and so on and so forth. And then you might find yourself in the position where you cannot sustain them, because you didn't think about what's going to happen to them in 6 months. Will you be able to? If you start a blog, you have to have content for the blog. And the content for the blog cannot be, you know, it has to be produced. Somebody has to actually come up with it. And it's one thing to which is also the case with any kind of social media channel that you open. But then again, it's easier to have, you know, a Facebook post or a tweet about something that's a certain number of characters. It's short. It's easy to do, and the blog post is longer. And then if we talk about other things and forums, for example, to keep it alive, it's such a you know, difficult task. It takes time, and you have to plan for it. And if your organization is not there today, that's not a problem. It's just that it's better not to over evaluate, you know, things. And some other thing that I think it's really it's difficult, but it's not impossible, is to think modular, to think about how things can develop in the future, and to create a structure at the beginning in your you know, that can accommodate new additions, which is, it's tricky, but it still is something interesting. And I think that we started a discussion in 3, and I have no idea what happened with our colleagues that were supposed to concentrate on filling in the form that you gave us.
I will start about the first thing you said about the time and energy all these tools need to create, or to just learn them at first and then keep them through time. I would say that if you don't have if you don't use a tool already, before you use it, you should research it. You should, and in different ways, either ask for anyone else that has already used it, or research on internet and see if there is maybe a better tool or another tool that you can use for the same purpose. So don't search for the tool. Maybe you can search for the how can you do something? How can you make your goal, make your purpose? so you can know afterwards, no, not afterwards, like prior, if you can handle it or not, and how is it used right now, and how can you use it.
Yes, it's, and then again, this kind of tools, they are so dynamic, they change so much, and so many things appear, and they are all, of course, so shiny and new toys that you cannot abstain from trying new and new and new and newer things. And so it's very tempting. Technology, it's confusing and tempting, and sometimes because of personal difficulties in how to handle your time and enthusiasm, you end up with more tasks than actually, instead of making it easier, you end up with more work to do just to keep up with what you what the instruments you created to help you in the beginning. But then that's life. Another tool that we discovered, and I have to share with you guys this one because it okay, it's a small group, I can say it. My boyfriend is an IT guy, and the thing is that last year he learned something from me about technology. So I have to tell you guys, so that means that it's, if it's checked on inside my small family, it means that it's something that's useful. The Etherpad tool, which is the Etherpad for we just used it in the summer school for young professionals we had, and in a learning circle that we just finished on project management for beginners. It's a good tool for collaborative work. It only accommodates text. It doesn't do images and things like that. But for editing, this kind of editing is perfect because you can have a pretty good collaborative experience, and also for trainings it seems to work quite well. So I will just write it in the chat. Yeah, and Claudia already did it. So that's one way to go. Again, I'm telling you from my personal experiences. One of the best management tools that I know is from Google, and it's called Google Keep, because I love lists. I think that for most of the things that are called project management, so the easy ones, the easy type of task management, Google Keep is just exactly the level of effort that you need to put in. It's just a list that you can share with multiple people, and then you check tasks while they are done. You can do shopping with it. This is how I used it in the first place, and it was wonderful, so that we could split tasks, and everybody was contributing, and then in half an hour you had like a full circuit of the entire hypermarket. But it's very versatile, and it's easy, and it's for free, and it's perfect for people that are at the beginning with project management, or that have to deal with tasks that are pretty much simple, I would say. And what else? I would say that these are my favorite ones for last year. Oh, I didn't say anything about Hopin, but that's a secret. That's not free. We are not talking about that. Yeah.
I would say that I have, as Claudia has a frustration like with the value of all these things that you have to bring on, and how big it is. I have a really frustration with the task management tools. I don't like any of them. I think I have used every single one of them, and no one really keeps it the way I want to keep it. So by having used almost all of them, I have turned back to writing notes on hand on paper. So now I'm on this stage again.
Okay. So at least you can scan them, or you can take them on the phone. The notes. Yes. So maybe we are pretty close to finishing. We have 15 more minutes to go. So I, for one, I would like very much to hear a little bit from our people in the room. And especially to please don't be shy. Ask Kyriakos to clarify things that he said, or things that would help you complete successfully the sheet, sheet that you worked at up to now. So just pop on the screen or say something in the chat, and we are here to help. Or if this is not appealing, just tell us what you will use when you do shopping. What's your tool for shopping lists? I showed you mine. I will also write it in the chat. It's Google Keep. And I also, for task management, the best I like now is Asana. I have to say that this is my favorite these days. And as most of the programs now, of applications now, it also has a version for small teams. It has a version that is for free, so you can work with up to I think 15 people. On most of the features that they offer, you can work for free without paying.
How do you say the last one?
You're still giving technology a chance, Kyriakos. It's asana.com. I just wanted to make sure, and I looked. So asana.com. It's maybe the lists are not though there is a certain type of appeal of writing things down, especially when it comes to the taking it out. I like that one. I like the crossing off.
You get a flying colored unicorn when you cross things out.
In Asana, when you do your tasks, yes, when you do it, I think you have to do 3 in a row, because there's a small one and the big one, and you have this huge unicorn that flies away. You know, it's like celebrate your victory. Sylvia, we are glad that you joined us in the morning, and now we are waiting for you in our next events. I hope it's useful for you. So see you. We hope to.
Thank you very much, Sylvia. Hope it was useful.
Hello, thank you for all. It was interesting. So I learned so much, and I'm glad to know people in Greece and another country who make more than me. What I say, I'm a mother, not an engineer, but I hope we collaborate for next future.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
All
Thank
was
you so
well.
much.
Bye,
Mulțumesc.
Silvia. Cu plăcere.
Bye.
So Patricia tells us that she uses Jira, but it's mostly for product development. It's not familiar, or is it familiar to me? Something that probably IT guys and girls use a lot. Patricia, can you tell us more? Is it for Scrum, or what kind of?
Hello, yes, it's basically for Scrum meetings, and it's using agile methodology in order for teams to track the development of a product. I mean, I use it at university, but it's mostly for software or robotics development and so on. And I think that the best part of it is the fact that you can follow the progress of a team in time. So you know that you have a number of issues. An issue is a task that you have to do in a time, and then they basically make flow charts for you, so you can see how the team has developed from the beginning of the product until the entire product is developed.
So it's also flexible, but also organized, and it also has a lot of visual aids that, and also it keeps time.
Yes, and it's really helpful. For example, if you have to manage a team, because supervisor, you can see what is everyone working on. You can see how many hours they have logged working on something specifically, and for each task you can create subtasks, and you can also create graphs that show you which team member has worked how much on what.
Really complex one. Thank you for sharing it with us. Yep.
So from what I understand, it can be used for like any project than only software development.
No, yes, it is, but I think it was developed. It has this kind of features that are more flexible as to accommodate agile type of project, which need a little bit more. They have a special rhythm of their own with prototyping and coming back and so on and so forth. So yeah, I will look into it. I never looked at this kind of tools that were made for IT or technical teams, but it's interesting. It's a good idea. Yeah, Claudia, what? Oh, you also have some tricks that you. Claudia, when she finds a new tool, she's so much into that tool that she wants to use it. Yeah, she tries to use it in the not always in the most appropriate moments, and she's like, but we want to talk. We don't want to use the quiz. Leave us alone with your quiz. We don't want you to see that. But it's a new tool. You have to see it. Look, I made a quiz for you. So tell us, give us some hints, Claudia. Some examples of quiz.
What Anka talks about,
things like that.
It's mostly training tools, because the training moved online. So if you want people to interact, you have to bring new tools. But I think those are different from what we talked about today, because now we talked about reaching out and communicating with our communities. And sure, if you do workshops or trainings, keeping it interactive and people engaged, that's, that's something that the trainer will have to take into account. But I think Kyriakos' presentation here was mostly from the perspective of the organization, like, what do you need to have covered? For example, from this conversation here, what I'm going to take and I'm going to explore a little bit more is the gallery option. Right? Because we all have pictures from our projects. We all have nice pictures and we all keep them someplace. But if we are a team or more people and, we need a picture from a specific event, we all spend a lot of time, we're wasting actually a lot of time figuring out where the picture is and finding the good quality picture that can be used. So I really like the category of gallery, put it on the on this list of tools because I find it very useful. So and another thing that since you you asked me, Anka, I was listening this morning to a podcast from a neuroscientist. And actually he was suggesting that always discovering new tools is quite healthy for your brain. I actually don't like it. It has to be the right amount of, you know, serendipity and interest for me to actually get a new tool. But then I listened to this guy and he's like, well, but your brain kind of grows if you do this. I was like, okay, so I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna try to do that, even though it's frustrating at the beginning to figure out, to read, to do the research, as you were saying. It's quite useful, and if you do it with breaks from technology, so not 24-hour technology, that's not healthy. But you know, when you do something to focus on it and try to figure out a new tool, it's quite useful. But again, with training and with patience, which, yeah, let's hope we're gonna have plenty of this year.
Training and patience. Okay.
I would add that even if you just see a new tool, you're excited of it, and then you think about like, I don't need this tool. Like, it's very, very nice. I would really use it if I needed to, but I don't need to. But it's I think it's a new way of thinking. Sometimes because it's a new tool. It's like a new way to do things in a specific way, in a specific matter. So maybe not now, but another time you can use it, or in another subject you can implement it. In that you can find a similar, an alternative, or just use the method that they used for it to create another tool maybe. So
yes. One of the things that is very interesting with tools is exactly that, because at the beginning you start trying to find the best tool for some idea or some project that you have, and then you actually the second step is most of the times for me, I don't know if this is true for other people, but for me is that your idea or your project gets shaped in a way by the tool that you found. Because maybe you couldn't before finding some tools or several tools, you couldn't actually imagine where your idea could go if you had the tool. And then you go back, maybe you don't even use the tool, but your idea is not the same anymore because it was shaped somehow by something that you saw that is possible from the technological point of view. So and I think that this is very interesting because it's a back and forth always that actually has positive results, even if you end up not using what you researched. It still contributed to your things. But yes, but it takes time, and as it when you come back to being an organization, and that meaning that you have a limited amount of resources. First order of business is to be coherent, to have a coherent way of functioning, and also a coherent way of communicating and doing outreach with your public and with your partners. So yeah, you need to plan and you need to say no to technology from time to time, just to keep your head afloat. Yes, so let's not forget about the. Of course, it's always like this. You know what I almost forgot? It's the feedback form that I'm going to just place in the chat right now. So we are almost done. Please don't leave before answering our questions. Just to make sure that we understand what we did good and what we did not so good, and so as to improve our future events. So thank you for coming with us on this journey.
One question. So Kyriakos, where can people find you to keep asking you questions about the technology.
I'm gonna write my email on the chat.
Yay. It's just that you write it to me,
Yeah,
but
so
it's okay.
I'm just gonna, okay.
One of
I just
the
had
joys
it,
of chat is that you can do this one-to-one chats, and then I always get you know, confused with this. It's always like this for me. So we have Kyriakos email, and we can ask him things about technology. Please do not ignore our Google form, because it will help us gather data in an organized way. It's easy for you. It's easy for us to get your answers analyzed and actually act upon the conclusions of that analysis. Thank you for being with us. We will come back with more events. So friend us on Facebook, visit us on our website. We'll stay in touch.
Thank you as well. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you.